this is Jesus in Gym Shoes. Boy, this is Jesus in Gym Shoes.
Welcome to another episode of Jesus in Gym Shoes, where we have unparalleled conversations about life skills and Jesus. I have one of my good frat brothers here with me, the Gooch himself, brother Allen Ladd, also known as Gucci. Introduce yourself, dog.
What's up, y'all? Like D said, I'm Allen Ladd. I'm a school social worker out here in Nebraska. Also Nebraska Qs, Spring 11, Centennial Qs out here. They call me Gucci Q, known coast to coast. So, and yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. 2 kids. I think we're talking about fatherhood this round. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure having you here. I'm gonna ask you what I ask everybody. What's your favorite pair of gym shoes?
I don't really know. I don't own those gym shoes, man. I'm a Sperry guy, Sperry and Air Max guy. But when I used to hoop, I probably played in some LeBron. Let's say this, LeBron Air Zoom Generation 1s. Those came out when I was a senior in high school.
Those are fire.
And
they came out your senior year?
My senior year in high school.
Freshman year in high school. 3.
Yeah, 2003, 2004. Yep, his first signature shoe.
Yep. So, that's my favorite LeBron.
Air Zoom Generation 1.
That is my
favorite. Man, I sound like a sneakerhead right there.
You do sound like a sneakerhead. Although I got friends that are like sneakerheads that despise LeBrons. Man. For whatever reason, they despise LeBrons. Yeah, and I don't know why. Like I like LeBrons, but LeBrons don't always. I don't know. They just aren't like. It's not a classic Nike, like a Penny or something like or Barkley or Jordan, of course. But I like LeBrons.
I work in a school all day, and I get that some of these Instagram teachers and stuff be flourishing with their sneakers and all that. I wear Sperry's, Air Maxes, Cole Haans. Cole Haans are great. That's what I wear every day. You know what I mean?
Understood. What was that process like? Because becoming a social worker, like in a area like you in Nebraska, and you're a Black man in Nebraska, like what's that like?
Well, so my social work journey, it started when I lived out in Maryland. So when I was living out on the East Coast, I lived out in Maryland for about 5 years. Started my master's program at Catholic University. That's where I ended up getting my master's, is out in DC. So I was going in person. And then 2018, I started my program in 2017. 2018, I moved, and I was just on the fence about finishing my master's. And that's when a lot of schools start rolling out that online programs and things like that, which now are flourishing due to the pandemic. We'll get to that. So I was. Harley's not down there. Okay, turn the radio on. I was one of the first ones to go through like one of those online portals. So like getting my master's through there, and it's like I always call it like a God's calling. Like I knew that East Coast, I would have been just another fish in the pond. That's what I always say. I would have been just another koi fish, nice fish in the pond. Out here, I am the fish in the pond. I am one of 5 Black male social workers in the state. I'm the only Black social worker here in Lincoln Public Schools, where I'm at right now. Jeez. I'm the only Black social worker at a high school level. So I knew that my presence was needed here. I felt like God sent me back, even though I went to Omaha first, now I'm back in the city that I was raised in Lincoln. So, that journey is just it's overwhelming at times, because it's like, I'm the one that people look for. So it's a lot of pressure sometimes, because like, am I saying the right things? Am I advocating for the right things? Am I providing this service when, they're so used to, white female social workers and things like that. So I am the anomaly. My dad, my godfather out in Maryland, called me a Black unicorn, and I've rolled with it. So when I introduce myself, I'm like, I'm a Black unicorn. You don't see too many Black male social workers out in Nebraska. And if you do, let me know.
So, put them in touch with me ASAP.
Definitely. And I mean, the social work degree, it opened up so many doors though, you know, not just here in the Midwest, but out east. Like once you get your master's of social work, you can go into any realm. You can go clinical, you can go clinical LI here in Nebraska right now. Technically, I can provide therapy to outside of school hours. I can provide therapy to people, but I'd rather get my licensure. So right now I'm on the path of getting my licensed mental health practitioner. So that way I can provide therapy. And then again, see, that's another small number. It goes to, in the city of Lincoln, there's only 3 Black male social workers, and Black male, not social worker, but therapists. And the demand for Black male therapists, man, if someone wants to come and make money, they're needed.
Hopefully, like they actually like people and want
Yeah.
to help people.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with that, I mean, the number overall is drastically small.
Yeah.
Like just in the entire nation.
The percentages are, it's outrageous. Like it's a very small percentage. I wouldn't even say more than 7% social workers or therapists out there are Black male. But when you find those ones, I mean, it's like finding even a haystack, and you got to hold on to that therapist.
Yeah, I have a Black male therapist.
Yeah. You're in a bigger city though.
But even still, like in Chicago, I mean, compared to, I mean, even still, like even being in Chicago, like it's still hard to find. There are a lot of Black women who, you know, are looking for Black female therapists, which they're a considerable amount more. They're still like fighting to like get on schedules of those that are there. So
the demand is way up.
Yeah, I lucked up.
I got a friend right now. She was out in Maryland when I was getting my master's. She's from Chicago, and you know, she's a therapist out there now too, starting off as therapist, and trust me, she's let me know about the need. And she always says it's easy for you because you're gonna be able to get one, a job, and two, do this. And I'm just like, unicorn effect.
Literally. But what is it? What made you kind of want to get into social work?
You know, I tell my story all the time, and you know, I've told it so many times. It's like, damn, am I forgetting this or this? But you know, I grew up in Mississippi. I was born and raised in Clarksville, Mississippi. So if you don't know where that's at, that's the Mississippi Delta, one of the poorest regions of the country outside of Appalachia and outside of the Indian reservations over in New Mexico and Arizona. You know, my mother passed away when I was 6. You know, I didn't really have ties with my biological father. I didn't really meet him until I was like 13. And so, you know, when she passed away, you know, I was in relative foster care. My cousin took us in, me and my brother. And, you know, she had 5 kids. She took us in, had a husband, about 9, 10 people in a 1-bedroom house, right? We moved to Nebraska in 97. You know, I was just raised here. And just so many people and when I think about it, just, you know, just in my life at right times, mentoring programs, tutoring programs, sports, and things like that. And I knew I wanted to go back for teaching. I was like, man, I think I want to be a teacher. But I knew that just wasn't my path. It wasn't my calling. And so I went to college. I got a criminal justice degree with a minor in special education. And I don't know, just somehow I would just start working in social services fields. And I knew that was my calling, because if you take a criminal justice degree, a special education degree, and a social work degree, what populations are you serving? Underprivileged, you know, Black and brown kids. Right now, you know, the population of Lincoln is not that, but, you know, underrepresented people. So I knew that was my calling. And then the biggest calling was when I went out east to Maryland and just seeing just so many beautiful Black people and just seeing the aesthetics of just that social work degree and title and what that brought. Yeah. And I got a mentor, Tish. Her name is Tish. Letitia Isby, and she works out in DC. And first thing she said to me, like, you're not gonna get too far in DC with just a bachelor's. You got to get your master's off rip. So I'll mentor you. I'll teach you everything I know, but it has to be in social work. I can't help you in anything else. And so
shout out to Black women
But yeah, she you know, and it was crazy because I was working at Boys Town in DC, and I was literally the only male working there.
Mm-hmm.
All of it was like 7 social workers, all on Black female social workers. Uh, Tish was my supervisor. She Black female. The executive director was a Black female. Man, it was
Black woman.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. I was like, I owe my degree to them. When I got it, I praised them so much, so much.
Yeah. I think I was having a conversation with one of the other bros. I don't know if I've ever I don't know if you've ever been around Moody. But we were having a conversation about how he's a Pi Beta 08. We were having a conversation about how you need a sponsor a lot of times, and people finding the right person that sponsors you. When we say sponsor, we mean the person that guides you or gives you the actual tools that are needed, that when you get in the room or while they're in the room, they're telling you like, hey, this is what you need to do, so that way you're qualified to get in the room. These are the steps that you have to take. This is the education that you need to get. These are the things that you have to do.
Exactly.
And it's amazing when Black people are able to be a sponsor or be able to give that interaction. And so it's interesting that you are a social worker. How does that, and also like an orphan essentially, how do you think those two things tie in together?
You know, one of the biggest things it teaches you, it taught me empathy and not just empathy for just other people, but like being able to be empathetic for myself and being able to remove myself from, you know, traumatic experiences and things like that. You know, as a clinician, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, every clinician needs a clinician. So I go to therapy and you know, it's resolving a lot of unseen trauma that I've seen and feel to this day, right? And so, you know, being in social work, I can literally think clinically. And I mean, trust me, I've been through a couple therapists, and because as we're combative, I know what skills and what tools they're going to try to use on me. You know, if they're using CBT or if they're using DBT, you know, these are just terms that we use in the clinical field, strategies they use, and I can combat them. But they go hand in hand because, like I said, I can tell my story. My story is relevant to a lot of the kids and just people that I work with. They see a Black male therapist, they see a Black male social worker, you know, even though I really don't say there's no ghettos in Lincoln, Nebraska, but there's poverty everywhere you go. There's traumas, generational traumas, all that in people's families and things like that. So you experience all that. And then I just pour that into myself and then give it back to my students to try to show them like, this is the way that you have to go, way you got to go out. So whether that be college, whether that be a trade, whether that be, you know, GED route, you know, we're going to figure it out. So
we got to figure
also, you know, we provide those services where it's like, you know, I'm frontline mental health. So if I don't tell kids, I can't fix your problem. I can't, but I can point you in the right direction to get you some services and things like that. So.
Understood. That makes sense. I want to say thank you for doing that.
Hey, man.
Thank you so much for doing that. Because I think it's necessary. It's most definitely necessary. What have you learned from being a dad? Because you're a dad also. You're a dad to 2 girls.
So I got 2 beautiful daughters, man. I got, you know, Kennedy, she's my oldest. She's out in Baltimore, Maryland. So if people listening and you hear I'm in Nebraska, and I have a 6-year-old in Maryland. And then I have my 3-year-old, Zaya. She just turned 3 yesterday. She lives in Omaha, Nebraska. That's like a 45-minute drive from me. But, you know, it's the epitome of going outside yourself. I have to put them before anything I do. They're the first thought of my mind. They're the last thought of my mind, whether it be subconscious or not. If it's, you know, did they eat today? How was school for them today? You know, if me and their mom aren't communicating, like, how can we fix that? It's just so many narratives and parts and moving parts to it, but all in itself, it literally showed me how to, one, love, because, you know, you have male love where it's like, you know, romantic and this and that and this and that. But then when you got to love your children, it's something totally different. Like, You know, dating, you can be like, you know, you love your partner and whatnot, but like that love, that unconditional love that you have for your children is something that weighs and you can't measure it. You know, you can't separate it. So.
And you're a bi-coastal dad, like damn it.
You just said that word to me today. I was like, what? What? Sure.
Like, I mean, you got a kid that's on, you got a daughter that's on the East Coast, at the tip of the East Coast, right? Yeah. And I said this to you before, you're going to have daughters with 2 different accents.
Oh my God, it's going to be terrible. My 6-year-old's already starting to get that deep West Baltimore accent. It's like,
yeah, hey, Dad, we going to the Avenue.
Oh my, I'd be like, Kennedy, can you say it this way for me, please?
Yeah, like, please. It was like, yeah, Pop, we going over there. I love that old ghetto, just, I love the culture. Don't get me wrong with that. When she comes out here, she doesn't even look that funny. And not just from people out in Nebraska, but from her dad herself. Like, did you really just say that? Did you really just enunciate and pronunciate that like that? It's not even a fluke. Oh my God, it's amazing. I love that Baltimore accent. But yeah, you're gonna have daughters with 2 different accents. Like, how is it? How do you love them? How do you love them and you aren't there with them?
You know, so it's tough for that one. I mean, I love my daughters, and some people will literally look at me and say, "You're lying to your face. You love Zaya more than you love Kennedy," because Zaya is more here with me. But the story, like when I moved away from Maryland, you know, Kennedy was 2 years old. So I've been gone for 4 years. Zaya was, you know, obviously now she's 3, but I've had more time spent one-on-one, more time spent just in proximity to Zaya than I had with Kennedy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's tough because, you know, Kennedy's asking those questions like, why'd you leave? You know, when are you coming back? You know, do you love my mommy? You know, it's tough questions, but as a clinician, you know, and that's another thing, it just taught me like, I have to answer those tough questions. I have to. And even though she's 6, she is smart as a whip. She understands. Trust me, she's parental. I'm going to call it parentified, but she's in some adult conversations. You know, I don't know what her mom and her grandma over there doing, but, you know, it's a situation where, you know, those tough conversations has to happen. But, you know, through the courts and through, you know, visitation and, you know, custody stuff, you know, I'm able to still go out there. Like I said, I got family still out in Maryland. So I try to get out to see Kennedy at least every 2 months, every 3 months, what my schedule allows. Because, you know, I'm constricted to a school schedule, right? So I try to get out there Christmas break, spring break. She comes out here for the summer for 2 months. So it's tough. Trust me, it is tough. That was the hardest decision I had to make, was leaving her. It wasn't a situation where I had to leave her mom because, you know, we were at a point where we were just done. Like, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't toxic. And I had felt like I had accomplished everything I needed to accomplish going out to Baltimore. Or going out to Maryland. And I knew I would be able to serve better in Nebraska.
So how just to get back to the point of like have a kind of a view that the audience can hear, what do you do to make sure that Kennedy is loved the way that Kennedy is loved or needs to be loved from you? Okay. And then like, how is it that you love Zaya the way that Zaya needs to be loved from you?
So again, I mean, they're 2 different people. They're 2 different individuals. They're 2, they have 2 different experiences with me. So like I said, with Ken, I have my proximity with Zaya where I can, if I want to go up to Omaha, I can go up to Omaha and see my daughter. With Kennedy, I think is more so my presence, you know, my wanting, my uncanny ability to be like, I'm coming to see you. I miss you so much. I'm coming to see you. If it's a situation where if it's a disciplinary situation on the phone, you know, my presence is still there. Kennedy knows I'm her father, even though if her mom dates any other body, Kennedy knows like that's dad, that's word. What he say goes. Mm-hmm. She knows that my love extends from here and beyond. Like, I will drop anything that I had to come for her and do anything. Like, you know, it's tough. It's tough. Trust me. To be here and her being raised there. And then when she comes in the summer, you know, she gets very emotional when she's leaving her mom, but then when she's here, it's just, she forgets she's with dad. And then when it's time for her to leave, it's vice versa. So I think just the biggest piece is just my presence. Like, even though it's over phone calls, FaceTime, visits, sending gifts monthly, she doesn't know about the financial aspect and pieces of things. She just knows daddy's in Nebraska. I live here in Baltimore. Right. And so, but on the flip side of that, the love that Zaya receives, in which is, I don't want to call it selfish, but it's just the proximity that Zaya can see me every day if I wanted to. Yeah. Right. We still have, I feel like with the situation with Kennedy's mom, it put me in a situation where I was scorned. So even though me and Zaya's mom have a healthier relationship, I still did the court route with everything, child support, visitation, all that. So I get my daughter every other weekend. But like I said, I can pull up on her anytime. So, but makes that sense. Love for Zaya is like, it's tough because that's my baby. And she the youngest, that's my baby. Yeah. She looked more like me, man. And she has my same attitude. She knows she's a daddy's girl. Both of them are daddy's girls, but if they said, who do you love more? I would have to walk out the room.
Yeah, that makes sense. What were your thoughts prior to being a dad?
Prior to being a dad, dog, I was out reckless out in Maryland. I was from the Midwest. I came out east and they were just like, you're not from here. You're not. And I was so used. I mean, I was used to Black women out here, but I was reckless out there. So I didn't have a care in the world. I knew I was an educated Black male. Wanted part of that talented 10th, you know what I'm saying? Right. But out there, I got humbled quick, but I don't lie, I was wilding. Like, Kennedy humbled me.
Okay.
Kennedy humbled me. It was like, you have a daughter. And I always call it, and if you got some religious people on your podcast, they're gonna get mad. I call it God's humor. He gave me 2 girls. Like, I gotta humble you twice because you are wilding. And so now every aspect in the dating realm, every aspect in anything is like, I got to put my daughter. So first, so when women be like, how would you feel if your daughter met a person like you? Well, they're going to be prepared. They're going to be prepared. They're going to know what selfishness look like. They're going to know what, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do your thoughts prior, so what were your initial thoughts like when you heard, damn, I'm about to be a dad?
Which time?
What were those thoughts?
Which time?
The first time. The first
time, with her mother, it was tough pill to swallow because me and her mom, we weren't together that long. I met her Memorial Day and she told me she was pregnant by the end of October. So that's a May to October. Short span.
So when you heard that, did something kind of click? Like, man, I got to do this, or I have to do this to kind of get myself prepared to be a dad?
Well, I was more scared, and this is just me being vulnerable right now. I was more scared of my image, because one, we weren't really dating, and then I still had 2 different images. I had my image out in who I was out east, and then I had my portrayal and who image I was back home. So it was still people back home that was like, when I come back and visit, this is Gucci or this Allen, he here to see me. And then, but now I got to tell people like, oh, I got a kid on the way. And so it was a shock to some, but at the end, at the end of the day, it was a situation where it was like, I'm a man of, to a woman, like, it's your choice. I can't force you what to do. If you're going to do this, if we're not together, we're going to co-parent. So like when when Kennedy's mom, when we tried it, one thing my godfather said, and I call him Pops. Pops was like, you don't have to date her to, parent. And I took it the hard way, and trust me, that just sparked so much toxicity. And I wasn't ready. I was still immature. I was still doing me. And like I said, it humbled me for a moment, but then I got back to me doing me. And then obviously the second time happened, but I think the first time when I heard that, and I'm not gonna lie, with Zaya's mom, I really was like, I don't want a second kid and I don't want a kid with you. But, it always seemed to happen like in this weird, like I have significant people pass away in my family. And every time someone passed away, it seemed like a blessing like that happened, right? So it's like reincarnation. Yeah. But like when Kennedy was born, was when she told me that she was pregnant. A couple months before that, my dad had passed away, my bio dad.
Mm-hmm.
When her mom told me she was pregnant, one of my great aunts who I love this woman, she had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why now I'm like, if someone passed away in my family, I'm like, somebody around here pregnant, and I hope it ain't me. You know, I can't get pregnant. But hopefully I'm safe enough to be like that. So
how are you keeping yourself in shape to be the best father?
Say that again. How am I keeping myself in shape?
How are you keeping yourself in shape to be the best father you can be?
You talking about mentally, physically?
It's up to you.
Emotionally?
It's up to you.
You know, that's a great question. I mean, physically, I think I'm pretty fit. I mean, I can still lose the Gucci gut from here and there. I can't stop eating candy and stuff like that. But like, no, biggest thing is mentally and emotionally. Those are the sharpest things that you got to keep intact mentally, because you got to, as fathers, we got to be vulnerable when we have little girls. You have to. You got to show them. And one thing that I'm trying to work on, and it's tough, like trying to show love to their mothers when I'm not emotionally attached to them like that. Like I've detached, and it's like, it's just the girls. If it ain't about them, I don't need to know about your day. I don't need to know about that. That ain't my business. But mentally being able to be vulnerable and showing them that, one, you can love, and two, you can show them love, right? And then also mentally being able to show that compassion and empathy, sympathy, all that, right?
Yeah.
That's both mentally and emotionally. So, but mentally, I mean, not mentally, but spiritually, you know, we go that route as well. You know, I'm trying to find a home church. I used to go to a church here, but you know, to each his own, I would say. You know, we trying. Yeah. I think one of the biggest things I just recently did was just purchase a home. So they now have a forever home. That I tell them, Daddy ain't moving. This is your house.
Yeah.
Your house, your room. When I leave, this house is going to be in your name, y'all names, and y'all better figure it out. So that's how I talk to my girls.
What do you want them to remember about you? Like,
hopefully I live to an age where they're adults and things like that, but they're gonna know they dad. Like it's crazy. One of the biggest things that I do, and a lot of people don't do this. I mean, people do it, but they do it for like social media and stuff like that. I take so many pictures. I try to get in pictures with my daughters and stuff like that, because I see people when, they pass or something like that, and then they were like, look at me and my dad when we was this young, and my dad was like this and this. I never had that ability to do that because my mother never took pictures. My family would say like she hated pictures, so I only have like 3 pictures of my mom, right? Which is crazy. That is crazy to me. But they're gonna remember me as, that's my dad. He ain't take nothing, but he is very emotional. He was emotional with me. He's smart as a whip, because I think I set that bar so high for them. I mean, a master's degree is not that high really, but it's like you got something to attain. And if they don't want to go to school, I will support them in any endeavor they do, because that's what dads do. That's our job, our role, to raise them, help them find the direction they want to go, and push them to go do that. So,
do you think that the fact of you not necessarily knowing, your bio pops, when you were younger, does that kind of weigh on you with how you love your kids?
Oh yeah, it totally does. It weighs so heavy on me because I think one of my biggest fears is being an absent dad. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the biggest fear for me. So that's why I work so hard to try to humble myself when I'm talking to my kid's mother. If it's something where I don't agree with and I'm emotional about it, I used to just shut down. I'm like, no, I can't do that. But now I have to communicate because, in the longevity thing, mothers control everything. They can take your kid from you. They can do that. I mean, I read a lot of, posts and stuff like that, call them baby mama terrorists and stuff like that. It cracks me up on stuff like that. But I think the absence of my father definitely weighs on me. But I also say I've seen great men be fathers. So I've had father figures in my life and show me what it takes to be a great man and great father. So
absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for, hopping on Jesus and Gym Shoes and
Hey man,
giving us a
you know how hard it was to not cuss.
what script. Last question: what scripture is it that you go to that kind of holds you over?
Oh
In
man.
those times.
Oh, you acting a person that don't really read the Bible like that. I can rattle off the scriptures that we
So what is it that you
pledging
where
and
is it
stuff
that
like
you
that, right?
where is it
But
that you go, or what is it that you look to that kind of keeps your head right? I mean, if it's a poem, what is it that kind of keeps you grounded?
so one, I talk to my mother daily. So like in prayer,
Yeah.
I talk to her, which is weird, right? I just she that's what keeps me grounded. Poems, you know,
I mean, it doesn't have to be a
we
poem.
got
It
a
could be a
Spitfire poems when we was
yeah,
online. We got to
absolutely.
Spitfire them jokers, right?
Like if the
Yeah.
haze
But
of all
mother to son keep that
mother to
that will
son.
humble me quick, man. That humbles you quick. And if they don't know that, Mother to Son by Big Brother Langston Hughes. So look it up.
My dean's favorite poem was To Our Tina.
Man,
yeah,
I like crazy. That, but that don't do nothing for me.
Yeah, mother to son. No, I was just bringing it up, but
yeah, mother to son, man. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. Psalms 121:8. That's a good one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you. Where can people get in touch with you at, Gooch?
Man, so I got my Instagram. That's the only thing I really rock on, and that's mostly just pictures of me and my kids, or if I'm at the gym, anything like that.
Not doing leg day.
Yeah, I do leg day, but I ain't got those big old jokers like you, man. But yeah, just at Gucci Q2X. I think I'm about to take a sabbatical though from social media. I need to recharge, refresh, and rebrand, regroup.
That's fair.
So yeah, that's basically it, man. School social worker and trying to stay humble and low key.
That most definitely works. Well, this has been, I thank you so much for chopping it up with me, giving us another, realistic look at, fatherhood and, the things that we talked about. So this has been another episode of Jesus in Gym Shoes, where we have unparalleled conversations about life skills in Jesus. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Instagram is _Jesus in Gym Shoes, and YouTube is Jesus in Gym Shoes. Thank you. I love you. Peace.